All right, welcome back, Camden Catholic. We're going to make like oil and slip on over to the commode as we learn about the Punic Wars.
For that unfortunate photobomb, I apologize. Get out, Scott! All right, anyway, you happy now?
I'm so happy.
All right, welcome back, Honors, right? So, anyway, we left off in class talking about the Punic Wars, right? The Roman model for conquest. Well, I think we got either here, possibly a little bit past here, but I'm actually recording this before I ever even have you. So if that's the case, we will figure it the heck out, right? So, well, anyway, but the model for Roman conquest is divide, explore, conquer, right? The Romans never actually planned to grow quite as large as they actually did. They just kind of kept taking area over area after area and added onto their empire, right? Well, by 272 BC, all of the entire Italian peninsula was under the control of the Romans, right? Excuse me. And what's beginning to happen is kind of the match that lights the black powder keg that is Roman expansion, right? So what ended up happening, though, is a rivalry actually began to develop between Rome and Carthage, right? Now, Carthage was a large city-state originally founded by the Phoenicians, and somebody like Taylor McGee's like, my name's Taylor, and I know Scott, look at me go. But I also know that the Phoenicians didn't actually settle anywhere. Now, well, okay, calm down back there, Taylor. That is true, but a lot of the areas that are going to come under Phoenician contact are going to grow small settlements, right? Well, Carthage is actually the most successful of those settlements, and it just began to grow and grow and grow and use its amazing area of which it was located to actually grow all over the place, right? And actually grow up very, very large. It's in modern-day Tunisia, right? Tunisia, which is on y'all's map quiz, which will be on Thursday, right? So now the big thing is they're going to begin to battle with each other over who's going to control sea trade in the Western Mediterranean. Now some of y'all are already like, but Mr. Terry, the Romans didn't have a good navy because of their geographically isolated coastlines. Well, this is true. They actually didn't. But they're going to develop one because they begin to fight over one's key specific territory. But by the way, this is what we believe Carthage looked like. Like, I personally think that it's like, man, imagine for a moment Rome didn't take over Carthage, and maybe that Carthage actually won, or hypothetically that if they just kind of grew in parallel with one another, imagine what we could, like, what was probably lost from this whole thing. This makes me so sad, so flippin' sad, because look how beautiful that is. There's actually, we believe, the Carthaginians might have had the ability to create these large naval interchange tables where the boat would actually be like lowered down into this area, and then this could be rotated, and then the boats could launch themselves forward. Like, it's like a parking lot for boats. Like, that is amazing. Now, continuing forward, though, these are also the maps, though. Before the entire thing went down, this is what Carthage owned in purple, and then this right here is what Romans owned in red, and then right here is where the Greeks are, in Syracuse, right? So, which we already talked about already. Now, other notable cities, of course, are going to include Utica, Aspis, Panama, blah, 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 blah. But the big ones we're concerned about are Carthage and Rome. Now, really looking quickly at this map, who's got the upper hand right now? Good job, Christian. The Carthaginians do. They just kind of own more land, right? And it's also obvious that they are a seafaring people. Well, the thing is, the first battles are going to actually start over the Isle of Sicily, right? Why exactly is it going to start over Sicily? Because it's the one place that there are natural what in Italy? Good job, Sam. Natural harbors, right? That's the big important thing. The first war is going to begin over the Isle of Sicily because Rome has built this navy that they are now looking for a place to quarter and actually put it at the harbor, right? Also, Rome is seeking to grow economically and actually expand into the Mediterranean Sea trade, right? So Rome's going to build a navy, take over the small island of Sicily, right? So the very first war actually ends in kind of like this weird, like, Rome kind of wins, but Carthage didn't really care about giving up Sicily, so it's like half of a tie. Like, it's very odd, okay? So, but the big thing is, then there's going to be an interwar period between the First Punic War and the Second Punic War, where two generals are going to rise up, and their names are Hannibal and Hamilcar, right? Hamilcar actually fought in this First Punic War, right? He is a Carthaginian general, and then Hannibal is his son, right? So Hamilcar fought, that says Hamilcar, but it's Hamilcar. Now, so Hamilcar actually fought against the Romans and lost, right? So, or lost their territory. So he's going to raise a son that was just given birth by the gods to destroy Rome, or which he believed anyway. And what he's going to end up doing is he's going to basically, this actually, according to myth, he killed a goat and told his son, swear on this holy sacrifice that you will forever hate Rome and one day destroy them. And that, my friends, is Hannibal, his son, right? So what's going to end up happening in the Second Punic War, though, is Hannibal sits back and he decides, if I'm going to take over Rome, I'm going to do this the right way. And I am going to bring the biggest army that anyone's ever seen, and I am going to sack and destroy them via the land, right? So what he decides is he recruits a gigantic army, including men, catapults, siege weapons, heavy artillery. Well, not artillery, actually, but like for the time, you know what I mean? Iron, wood, like weapons and junk. Like now, and then also the big one, war elephants, right? He decides he's going to bring elephants all the way to Rome and use them to help him destroy the entire Roman city. Well, think about it, Hannibal. You've got to cross the Alps to get there, right? So he's going to run into a lot of issues trying to cross the Alps to actually get there because he can't come in from the coastline because it's protected by cliffs, and the Romans are just going to light them up in the water, right? So he tries to go all the way around Italy, like backing it up. He decides that he wants to go all the way around, land here, and then come over the top. Or actually, I think it goes through Spain. But go all the way up and then come over the top of Spain and destroy Rome from above, right? Well, the thing is a lot of his elephants are going to die and a lot of his men are going to die from exposure. And then also, stroke of genius, the Roman general Scipio decides, well, wait a minute. If Hannibal under Carthage is bringing all of this stuff over the Alps to come and attack us, who's defending Carthage? So Scipio takes an entire Roman legion and lays siege to Carthage while they're on the way to Rome. So the fact that he attacked the land in North Africa, Hannibal had to turn around and come back. And this right here, this is the Carthaginians actually trying to cross the Alps, right? It's crazy. And so what's going to end up happening, Hannibal is forced to return to defend his home in Carthage's lands in North Africa, and Carthage is going to surrender in 202 BC. So Hannibal's actually going to lose this monumentous battle, right? Now, after the Third Punic War, which is in 146 BC, Carthage is going to be left in ruins, right? And many of the Carthaginians are actually going to be sold into slavery by the Romans themselves, right? The Romans don't play about taking things over and then turning those conquered people into slaves. Now, here's a crazy thing that also happened. The ruins in the Salted Lands. According to legend, there's some stuff that happened about the ruins of Carthage. But I don't want to put that story on the internet. So you're going to need to ask me about it in class tomorrow, all right? But the Salted Lands is one thing that I can say. According to myth, after the Third Punic War, the Romans were so furious with the fact that the Carthaginians kept trying to pick this fight that they were like, we're not only going to take over all of your land, but we are also going to destroy your ability to even survive as a city-state. They're like, Carthage, we want everything you own except for your city, because they took their land and their fields and poured salt all over them so nothing would ever grow again. You could say they assaulted the land. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Yeah, laugh. Now, anyway, so Greece, following the Punic Wars, Greece, Macedonia, parts of Southwest Asia are also going to come under the control of Rome, and they're going to use diplomacy and threats during the Punic Wars to actually accomplish this. So remember, Rome didn't plan on growing to the size that it did, but following the Punic Wars, they began to grow and understand the benefits economically of this growth. Because Rome is then going to divide the Republic, right? This is during the Republic period. They're going to divide everything into provinces, and they're going to appoint a governor to rule each one, right? And then they're going to collect taxes, and they have to pledge their loyalty to Rome. These are some of the ruins that are actually left behind in Carthage. And the people of these new provinces had to pay tax to Rome, and some of them are even going to be taken into slavery, which is another really big economic advantage for the Romans, right? So the big part about this entire thing is it was a genius operation by the Romans, because not only did you now grow larger, have more trade goods, you now have access to every single Carthaginian sea route that they had, right? You now have the Carthaginian navy. You have now taken them into slavery. You have now also grown like in your size. You now have more taxes. This effectively is how the Romans set up their what? I need you to write this down in your notes. This is huge. This is a big honors thing. I need you to write this down in your notes. What is this? What is the Roman version of? Ding, 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 ding. Good job, Lily. That is correct. The Roman bureaucracy. This is the Roman bureaucratic system in effect, right? They're like, we're going to grow create provinces, get a governor, make sure that we're actually enforcing our tax laws, collect those taxes, and we're going to pivot it back to Rome. We're just going to continue to grow more powerful every time we grow a little bit more. So that kind of created that thirst for expansion. And by the end of the Roman Empire period in 117 AD, the biggest they had ever gotten, everything in red is where Rome touched. Is that not ridiculous? Whew, that's insane. But that's where we're going to end. That's it. So that's Roman conquest, right? We're talking about and they used their legions to keep growing. And that is the reason why they actually grew to be this large. So that's some good stuff. Very proud of you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great evening.